Hello and welcome. It is Kristen from Life of Crafting, and I am going to be making a card for Christmas. And I'm using this die from Tim Holtz that Sizzix made called Mountaintop. This was released in his Christmas line for 2021, I believe. And I like this as a background because it gives you a lot of detail. So this comes with 6 dies, and it looks easy, but then when you start trying to piece it together, you're kind of like, what colors am I doing? This big piece is basically going to be your valley in there. So this is a piece you're going to want to pick for your darkest. So I put out 3 colors. This is what I have, which this is soft suede from Stamping Up. Again, I'm trying to use up my Stamping Up papers. This is Crumb Cake from them, and I'm just doing a cream. And I'll walk you through. So I'm going to die cut this to be the valley, and that will be my darkest color. Then you have these other 5 pieces. So work from bigger to smaller. The next 2 bigger ones are these, and he doesn't have them all marked on the back like some of his other colorized. I don't believe, no, he doesn't call this colorized, so this is not considered colorized, even though to me, the way he did it all, it looks like it should be one. So these 2 big ones are going to be basically what would be like the face of the mountain if you were looking at it. So that's going to be like a medium color, and that's where I'm going to use my Crumb Cake for that. And those 2 are going to be basically the same color, so I don't know how I'm going to put that through the die yet, but that'll be that one. And then you have 3 that are, one's very tiny. That is going to be like the snowfall, if you see it on the top of the mountain, or I guess in some instances like what you would see when you look at a mountain as far as like foliage and stuff like that. Or some people may say that's where the sun's going to hit it, and that would be like the lightest part of the mountain. So that's where I'm picking to do cream. And I'm thinking when I do this, because again I'm going to do this in a Christmas card, that I'm probably going to do some glitter of sorts on this as well, so it's not going to look so much like that as far as it looking cream, but I think it's going to look nice. So I'm going to cut everything out and then I'll be back. So now I'm going to start assembling this. So here's what I said is about the base piece. And I would tell you too is make sure you got like a decent weight of cardstock for that, because you're going to find that, you know, like I said, it's your base and you're going to want to start layering on top. So you don't want anything too flimsy, but by the time you're done, it will be a pretty solid piece. So I like to use either the Barely Art Glue or the Art Glitter Glue, because you get the fine tip on these is like none other. Both of them I find to be kind of the same. You get a little bit more time before drying with art glitter. I just find that, you know, you need some wiggle room with these types of dies, and you're not going to get that with like an ATG gun. So this is actually going to have the flat side on the right and that little like hook in the bottom, but this part here is what you're going to be matching up right to there. So as soon as you get that matched up, everything else falls in line. But you do want those like little tentacles that come off of it to have some glue so you can get them to glue down, because they're very pointed. And if you're finding that you don't get it exact, just turn it over. Like I have a little bit hanging off here, and you can just trim it off. When you get this on your card anyway, you know, you may want to do some trimming and get that off. Then you have this piece here, and you're going to want to glue this up the same way. Get some glue on all those little fine sections and edges. And just make sure you got, you know, some glue. And then you're doing the same thing. You've got this section up here, you can tell because you want that little hook in the bottom, and that's going to measure, or that's going to butt right up to this edge here. Sometimes I just use my fingers right on the edge, and then I can push right to my finger, and I know I'm right on that edge. So, you know, like I said, if you need to, you can, you know, cut this off. If you're going to, if you get too far in, if you go too far over, you can just turn it over and cut it off that way. So it's not like you're really, you know, stuck. So there's those 2 layers. So that means these 3 are done. And I'll put these to my scrap pile. And then the 3rd is the one I told you that's going to be like the light on the, or the snow, however you want to look at it. And that's those 3 small ones. And I left them aside so that you could see them. So it looks like you just have to punch out the one. Like I said, these come out like a dream. That's part of what I want to show you too, is that, you know, like, I have not had a Tim Holtz die yet. Maybe I haven't had them all, but I haven't had any that are like really like sticklers. So now there's the 3, and what I would start with is probably this one, because you have all those little tentacles on there that I don't want them to get bent back. So I'm gonna just lightly try and glue this up. And like I said, try and get them all. And then the way to line this up again is you're going to have one flat side right here. And that flat side's going to stay to the right. And you're going to just line up again to that edge. Now there is some sections on there that still peek through, because I guess it's supposed to look like, you know, like the snow is melting off and you start seeing that little mountaintop. And then the rest of these kind of fall in line, except for this one that you have to like line up and glue down. So that, here's like another section. Just use your finger and just make sure you got them lined up. But like I said, if it's not perfect, it's the background. I don't think anybody's going to really eye it up that much. So that's that one. Then this one, if you take a look, this, you have the 2 points going up. The piece that you punched out, oh God, and there's like some really small sections to glue on here. So you're gonna have that one part that you punched out, and it's gonna look like you're, you know, almost giving like a weird peace sign or something. There is a flat side here, but it's kind of hard to tell with all the other angles. So that flat side goes right up in that top corner there. And then once you get that there, the rest of it all kind of falls in place. Now there is a section down here. Ooh, I just moved it too much. Where these little tentacles like all match up with the piece underneath of it. So, you know, try your best to get that lined up. But again, if it's not lined up, I don't think anybody's really gonna notice. So the only thing that leaves you with is this tiny little piece here. And again, glue up the little tentacles. Ooh, way too much glue in there. And then this is just gonna go down. And it looks like, how do I do this? You kind of have like a valley, a ridge, and a valley. You're gonna put this right on this edge of that, it's gonna go right on that edge, like right there, of the mountain before it goes into the valley. So, once you get that lined up, you just press it down, and that is the mountaintop. Now, I can tell you, this is the piece that you punched out, throw that out. He's got some sponging on the edge. That probably really would do some benefit. I probably should have thought about that, but I wanted to show you the gluing, and I was afraid that if I did too much with the aging of it, that I would have it like starting to smear with the glue. What I'm gonna try and do is I do have, let's see if I can get them. I do have the little finger daubers. And which one did I just use? You can probably just do your sponge. like I can still catch those edges. I don't even know what color this is. I should have looked, I guess, right? Yeah, so you can still do it afterwards now that I'm looking at it. Because like I said, depending on what ink you use, especially if it's like an oxide or something, you're really gonna mess it up. And this will, as it dries, lighten up some. That'll help hide too if you didn't get, like I didn't get some of these exactly. It will hide that, and blend those colors together. So that is the Mountaintop die from Tim Holtz. And like I said, this is going to be a background for me for a Christmas card of all things. And I'm guessing I'm going to put some glitter in here and make this my snow. And for storage, the only thing I'm going to do, I already have it in my plastic container here. I do keep the Sizzix ones that they send, and I'm going to keep the bigger ones, the two big ones in there by themselves. Because there's no point putting that on a magnetic sheet. And then I'm going to just put just the 4 smaller ones on a magnetic sheet. Making sure I put the small one kind of to the inside so that it doesn't kind of like fling off if this, you know, kind of gives away. And I'm just going to stick that in there and put this. Ooh. I swear I don't normally have this issue. And then I just store them in like that because I do want to keep his colored picture for reference. Nothing works when you're on camera. Just know that. If you try to make anything look nice, that's why I call it Life of Crafting, because nothing is the way people want to display it to you half the time. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes that they like hide. I'm not that kind of person. I can't hide it. So that's why you get what you get. So some of his are like life size, but that's not. I have a card here. Yeah, that's like way bigger. I'm gonna probably have to do a 5x7. That is way bigger than an A2 size card because this was this is for my son's friend's father passed away, and I got this, just happened to be sitting here. Yeah, this is gonna have to be like a 5x7 because you're looking, that's a 4 1/4. Yeah, this is scaled for a 5x7 card. So I'm happy I got to show you that too. I thought to do that because, you know, I mean, obviously you could cut it down and it's still going to look nice. Or you could just, you know, cut it one way versus the other. Gives you some options. So I appreciate you watching. If you got some education, some inspiration, I'd appreciate some thumbs up. You can also subscribe down below to get updates for when I upload videos, so it will show up in your feed. And you're going to want to tune in to see what I do, because I told you I got some good stuff coming up. I'll talk to you later. See ya. Bye.